Have you ever wondered why some people work hard their entire lives yet remain broke, while others seem to build wealth effortlessly? Why do two people with the same job and the same salary end up with completely different financial futures? In Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert T. Kiyosaki reveals the answer. He grew up with two father figures. His real dad, who was educated but financially poor, and his best friend's dad, who had little formal education but was financially rich. From their contrasting lessons, Kiyosaki learned that the difference between poverty and wealth isn't luck, it's mindset and habits. This book teaches us how to escape the trap of working for money and instead learn how to make money work for us. Curious to know what separates the rich from the poor? Let's dive in and find out. Think about your daily struggles with money. A student graduates with debt and wonders how to repay it. A professional works long hours but feels trapped in paycheck to paycheck stress. A parent sacrifices for their family yet can't build long-term wealth. We study math, science, and history in school, but nobody teaches us how money truly works. And that ignorance costs us in stress, in freedom, and in lost opportunities. That's where Rich Dad Poor Dad enters. It doesn't just talk about money, it transforms your financial mindset. Kiyosaki explains that wealth isn't about working harder, it's about thinking smarter. By shifting from an employee mindset to an investor mindset, we stop trading time for money and start creating systems that generate wealth even when we sleep. This book reveals hidden secrets of financial independence, how assets differ from liabilities, how to break free from the rat race, and how to build a success mindset around money. Imagine what your life would look like if you're no longer worried about bills, if your money worked for you, and if financial freedom wasn't just a dream but a daily reality. Welcome to Unique Audiobook. This is the place where you'll find the world's best book summaries in just 15 minutes. Each summary reveals a hidden secret that can change your thinking and your life. Whether you're a student, a parent, a professional, part of the corporate world, navigating relationships, or working on your finances and mindset here, you'll discover practical solutions and new perspectives. And today, we're diving into Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert T. Kiyosaki. This isn't just another finance book, it's a mindset revolution. If you've ever wondered why some people achieve financial freedom while others remain stuck in the rat race, the secret we're about to explore may be the turning point in your financial journey. Don't skip this, because what you're about to hear is not just financial advice, it's a new way of thinking. Rich Dad Poor Dad is one of the rare books that doesn't just teach money tips, but rewires your entire financial mindset. And here's the truth most people never hear. If you keep working for money without learning how money works, you'll always remain trapped. Think about it. How many people do you know who earn well, yet are constantly stressed about bills? That's because income without financial intelligence is fragile. Kiyosaki shows us how to build financial education, invest smartly, and create assets that produce wealth for a lifetime. Stay with me until the very end, because the final principle we'll cover is the most powerful of all the one that separates lifelong employees from those who achieve true financial freedom. Think about Warren Buffett, one of the richest investors alive. Unlike lottery winners or celebrities who earn fast but lose faster, Buffett built wealth steadily over decades. His philosophy? Focus on acquiring assets that grow in value, instead of liabilities that drain money. This mirrors Robert Kiyosaki's central lesson in Rich Dad Poor Dad. Wealth isn't built by chasing big salaries. It's built by owning assets, businesses, investments, real estate. Buffett's journey proves that true wealth comes not from working harder, but from letting money work for you. His story is a reminder that financial freedom is not reserved for the genius few. It's a mindset shift anyone can adopt. Buffett's story reminds us that assets build wealth, not salaries. But what exactly did Kiyosaki's two fathers teach him about money? Their contrasting lessons reveal why some people stay broke while others rise. Let's begin with lesson 1. The rich don't work for money. Imagine being told as a child, go to school, get good grades, find a safe job, and you'll be secure. That's what Kiyosaki's real dad, his poor dad, believed. But his rich dad taught the opposite. Don't work for money. Learn how money works and let it work for you. The poor and middle class trade time for money. They chase promotions and raises, but expenses grow alongside income. The rich, however, build systems, investments, businesses, assets that generate income whether they work or not. As a boy, Robert and his friend worked for Rich Dad, earning little. When Robert complained, Rich Dad said, "That's the trap, you're working for money," instead of learning how money works. That lesson stuck for life. Think of an employee working overtime every month to cover bills. Contrast that with someone who invests in rental property. One is stuck in the rat race, the other earns while they sleep. The rich don't chase paychecks, they chase financial intelligence. Stop asking, "How can I earn more?" and start asking, "How can I make money work for me?" We've learned that working for money traps us in endless cycles. But here's the next challenge. If money isn't the goal, then what exactly should we focus on? Kiyosaki's answer is powerful yet simple. Learn to tell the difference between assets and liabilities. That's lesson 2. Imagine two families earning the same income. One buys a new car and designer clothes, the other invests in a small rental property. A few years later, the first family is buried in debt, while the second enjoys growing income. Why? The first spent on liabilities, the second built assets. Kiyosaki defines it clearly. Assets put money in your pocket. Liabilities take money out. Most people confuse the two. A bigger house may look like an asset, but if it drains your bank account every month, it's really a liability. Rich Dad explained this to Robert by drawing two diagrams. Poor Dad's income went straight to expenses and debts. Rich Dad's income went into assets, investments, real estate, businesses, which produced more income. Think about smartphones. Upgrading every year as recurring expenses, but using that same money to buy dividend-paying stocks as income. Wealth grows when assets multiply, not when liabilities expand. Write down your last 3 big purchases. Label them honestly, asset or liability. Now that we know assets build wealth while liabilities drain it, here comes the big question. Why don't schools teach us this? We spend years studying subjects we rarely use, yet graduate financially blind. That is exactly what Kiyosaki addresses in his next insight. Lesson 3 is about why schools don't teach financial education. Imagine spending 16 years in school but never learning how to handle a paycheck, taxes, or debt. That's reality for most people. Kiyosaki argues that schools prepare students to be employees, not financially independent. Poor Dad believed in academic success as the path to security. Rich Dad believed financial education was the path to freedom. The system teaches us to memorize facts, but not how to build assets. As a result, people graduate with degrees but remain financially illiterate. Robert recalls asking his poor dad about money only to be told, "Go back to school." But when he asked his rich dad, he received lessons on investing, entrepreneurship, and risk-taking. Those lessons weren't in textbooks, but they changed his life. Think of a graduate with top grades but heavy student loans. Without financial knowledge, they take the first job offer, lock into debt, and struggle for decades. Meanwhile, someone with financial education may start a small business, invest early, and achieve freedom. Academic education prepares you to earn. Financial education prepares you to grow wealth. Pick one financial book, podcast, or course this month. Start your real financial education. We've now uncovered 3 core lessons. The rich don't work for money, assets grow wealth, and schools don't prepare us financially. But knowledge without action fades. How do we actually apply these lessons daily? That's where the next set of principles guides us, starting with lesson 4. Imagine a doctor who earns $500,000 a year but is drowning in debt. How can someone so successful be broke? The answer is simple. They master medicine but never master money. Kiyosaki says, financial literacy, not income, is the foundation of wealth. Financial literacy means knowing how to read financial statements, understanding the difference between cash flow and expenses, and spotting the traps of liabilities disguised as assets. Without it, money flows in and out of your life like water in a leaky bucket. Rich Dad often showed Robert real estate deals, teaching him to calculate income, expenses, and cash flow. He explained, many earn a lot, but because they don't understand money, they stay poor. Think of lottery winners. Nearly 70% go broke within 5 years. They had money, but no financial knowledge. Without literacy, money is like fuel poured into a broken engine, it burns out quickly. Income may fill your pockets, but financial literacy builds wealth that lasts. Spend 15 minutes today looking at your expenses. Ask yourself which ones add value and which ones drain it. Transition 56 words. Now that we've seen why financial literacy is crucial, let's face another truth. Knowledge alone isn't enough. Many people know what to do, but fear keeps them frozen. The difference between rich and poor often comes down to courage. That brings us to lesson 5, why the rich take risks while the poor play it safe. Picture two people with 10-0 in savings. One hides it in a low-interest bank account, safe but stagnant. The other uses it as a down payment for a rental property. Years later, the first still has done 0 worth even less due to inflation. The second now owns an income-generating asset. Kiyosaki stresses this. The poor avoid risk because they fear losing money. The rich embrace calculated risk because they know avoiding risk guarantees mediocrity. Rich Dad encouraged Robert to start small businesses, even if some failed. He'd say, every failure teaches you what safety never will. Once Rich Dad bought undervalued property others ignored. Over time, its value soared, proving that courage plus knowledge leads to wealth. Think of someone stuck in a job they hate but too scared to explore side ventures. Compare that to another person who starts freelancing after hours. One stays trapped, the other slowly builds freedom. Playing it safe often carries the biggest risk because inaction guarantees stagnation. Write down one financial risk you've avoided investing, learning a new skill, or starting a side hustle. Take one step toward it this week. Surprising fact, inflation silently steals 2-3% of your money every year. That means keeping cash safe is actually guaranteeing loss. The real danger isn't risk-taking, it's staying still while the world moves on. Now we know risk-taking separates the rich from the poor. But courage alone won't make you wealthy, you need strategy. And the richest people focus on building assets, not just chasing income. That's exactly what Lesson 6 reveals. Why the rich prioritize assets over paychecks. Imagine a professional who earns 200 a year. Sounds impressive, right? But if their mortgage, car loans, and lifestyle expenses consume everything, they're one paycheck away from disaster. High income doesn't equal wealth. Assets do. Kiyosaki explains, income is temporary fuel, but assets are engines. Assets like businesses, investments, or real estate generate money even when you stop working. Wealth is measured not by salary size, but by how long your assets can cover your expenses without new income. Rich Dad told Robert, the poor buy luxuries first. The rich buy luxuries only after assets pay for them. That mindset meant the rich stayed rich. Think of two friends. One uses a bonus to buy the latest phone. The other invests in index funds. 10 years later, one has gadgets, the other has freedom. Income feeds today, assets feed tomorrow. Redirect at least 10% of your next paycheck into an asset, even something small like a stock or ETF. Quick pause. If these lessons are opening your eyes, drop a comment saying, I'm building assets. It keeps you accountable and motivates others. And don't forget to like and subscribe. We've got 100 plus summaries to guide your journey toward financial freedom. So far, we've built the foundation: literacy, courage, and assets. But there's still one invisible barrier: mindset. Fear, doubt, and limiting beliefs keep many stuck in poverty even when knowledge is available. In the next section, we'll uncover Lesson 7, overcoming fear and building the mindset of the rich. Imagine two people offered an investment opportunity. One says, what if I lose money? The other says, what if I learn something valuable? Same opportunity, different mindset. That's what Kiyosaki calls the biggest difference between rich and poor: the way they handle fear. Fear of losing money keeps most people poor. Fear of criticism keeps them from trying. Fear of uncertainty locks them into jobs they dislike. Rich Dad taught Robert that courage isn't the absence of fear, it's moving forward despite it. Robert once hesitated to invest in real estate. Rich Dad reminded him, failure isn't the enemy, fear of failure island. By facing his fear, Robert learned skills no classroom ever taught. Think of someone terrified to start a side business because of what ifs. Meanwhile, another person starts small, learns, and grows. Fear froze one, courage freed the other. Wealthy people don't escape fear, they reframe it as feedback. Write down one financial fear that holds you back. Take one micro step toward facing it this week. Once we overcome fear, we unlock possibility. But mindset alone isn't enough. We also need to act differently with money. The rich use money as a tool to grow more money, while the poor see it only as something to spend. That brings us to lesson 8, learning to make money work for you. Imagine planting a tree. At first, it looks tiny and fragile, but years later, it provides shade and fruit. That's how money should work. Plant it into assets that grow over time. Kiyosaki stresses that poor people work for money, while the rich make money work for them. They do this by buying assets that generate income, rather than liabilities that consume it. Rich Dad often invested in real estate. The rent from tenants covered expenses, while the property value grew. His money worked harder than he did. Consider someone saving money in a low-interest account. Over time, inflation eats its value. Compare that with someone investing in dividend stocks. Their money produces new income without extra hours of work. Don't just earn money, put it to work so it earns for you. Look at one portion of your income. Instead of spending it, place it into an asset that generates cash flow. Did you know? If you save 1 zero in a regular bank account, after 20 years, inflation may cut its value in half. But invested wisely, that same 0.10 can multiply several times over. The choice isn't earning more, it's using money smarter. Now we know how to make money work for us. But here's a critical insight. Money alone won't make you rich. Knowledge will. Many stay broke because they stop learning after school. The wealthy never stop. Lesson 9 reveals why continuous learning and self-investment are keys to wealth. Picture someone who says, I'm done learning after college. They enter the workforce, repeat the same job tasks for decades, and wonder why nothing changes. Kiyosaki insists the rich never stop learning. Rich Dad emphasized acquiring financial education, constantly reading books, attending seminars, seeking mentors, and learning through trial and error. Knowledge compounds like money, and those who keep learning adapt faster in a changing economy. Robert recalls his rich dad saying, "The moment you think you know it all, you've already lost." He encouraged Robert to take jobs not for pay, but for learning in sales, investing, and business building skills that will later pay millions. Think of technology workers. Those who stopped learning new tools became obsolete. Those who kept upgrading their skills stayed in demand with rising opportunities and paychecks. Continuous learning is a wealth-building asset, one no one can take away. Commit to one financial learning activity this week. Read a finance book, join a seminar, or listen to a money podcast. Learning sharpens our edge. But here's the final truth. Knowledge and action together create momentum. Wealth isn't built in giant leaps. It's built slowly, through compounding. That leads us to lesson 10, perhaps the most inspiring of all. The power of starting small and letting growth compound over time. Imagine planting bamboo. For years, nothing happens above ground. But underground, roots spread silently. Then suddenly, it shoots up, growing feet in weeks. That's compounding, invisible progress, turning into explosive results. Kiyosaki explains that wealth grows the same way. Most people quit because results feel slow, the rich persist, knowing compounding takes time. Robert's rich dad taught him that one rental property might look small, but when reinvested into more assets, growth multiplies. Decades later, what started small became generational wealth. Consider investing 10 a day. It may feel trivial, but over 20 years, with compounding, it could grow into a life-changing amount. Patience transforms pennies into power. Compounding rewards. The patient quitters never see the harvest. Pick one wealth habit, saving, investing, or learning, and commit to it daily for at least 1 year. Watch small actions compound. Mid-roll CTA. 50 words. If you've made it this far, type in the comments, I believe in compounding. It shows you are serious about growth. And make sure you subscribe because more than 100 plus summaries are coming to help you plant the seeds of wealth and watch them multiply. Let's return to our opening question. Why do some people work hard all their lives and remain broke, while others achieve financial freedom? Rich Dad Poor Dad gave us the answer. It's not about income, it's about mindset. We learned that the rich don't work for money, they make money work for them. Assets build wealth, liabilities drain it. Schools don't teach financial literacy, so we must educate ourselves. The rich embrace risk, focus on building assets, and overcome fear with courage. They never stop learning, and they trust in the power of compounding. This book shows that financial freedom isn't luck, it's discipline, knowledge, and persistence. The punchline? The poor work for money, but the rich make money work for them. If you've stayed until the end, it means you're serious about changing your financial life, and that's the first step to freedom. Don't forget to like this video, share it with a friend who needs these lessons, and subscribe for more. We've got 100 plus of the world's best book summaries coming your way. And if you'd like us to cover the full audiobook of Rich Dad Poor Dad, drop a comment below. Remember, financial transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens by shifting your mindset, taking small, consistent actions, and letting money work for you. So, educate yourself, invest wisely, and let your habits and mindset shape your financial destiny.